Second annual Green Growth Convening. If you haven't found your seats yet, please proceed, and we will start here momentarily. All right, that was quick. Thank you, everybody. Again, welcome to our second convening for the Green Growth Initiative. My name is Geraldine Rogers, your program manager for the CNMI Green Growth. We are waiting on just a couple of things, some technical difficulties, so thank you so much for your cooperation. I'm going to quick do a selfie of all of us, and then Patricia is also going to do that wide angle lens, just for fun. And then we are going to be introducing our speakers today. We also wanted everybody, if you haven't touched up your makeup, fixed your hair, we will be doing a group photo out here in the garden area. So real quick selfie, and then we're going to get on the road for this.
Say cheese!
Cheese!
As my mama said, good morning. All right, good morning, everybody. I just want to thank you again for taking the time to join us. We've got people from all over the community. We've got our student leaders. We have people from the legislature and from PSS, from all of our government institutions and our private institutions as well. And so we thank you for taking the time. Right now, I would like to introduce our MC and program, or the CNMI Green Growth Program Overall Coordinator and NMC CREES Dean. This is Miss Patricia Coleman.
Well, good morning, everyone. How is everyone feeling this morning? Great. I wanted to do a special shout out to DEQ, the Bureau of Environmental Quality, Division of Environmental Quality within that agency. Let's give them a big round of applause. We'd also like to do a special warm welcome for our students from Tinian, Zanlutha, and some of them are here and some of them will be joining us a little bit later in the program. Yes. Okay, we are going to jump right into it, and we are going to start by introducing our inspirational keynote, all of the above speaker, Galvin De Leon Guerrero, affectionately known to us as Dr. G, as many call him, is the president of Northern Marianas College. He has almost 30 years of teaching and leadership experience in K-12 and higher education. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in English Literature, a Master's of Arts degree in School Administration, and an education doctorate in organizational leadership. He has also taught English and social studies at the secondary and post-secondary levels, has coached speech, debate, and mock trial, and has produced over 50 stage and film productions as a dramatist and filmmaker. He is devoted to his wife, Velma, and a proud father of Victoria, who's here, William and Mary Shelley. Lastly, for 3.5 years, he has run every single day, including 3 marathons, and is certified by the Jedi Order of the Northern Marianas Islands as Saipan's #1 Star Wars fan. The force is strong with him. Help me welcome Dr. G.
Good morning, everyone. Here's a Star Wars pulse check. Hello there. Yeah, thank you. The force is strong with us. This is wonderful. I've always believed that, here in the CNMI, we love our alphabet soup. It's embedded in our name, CNMI. So I'm a firm believer that if we almost have every letter of the alphabet, we have everybody represented. So thank you all very much for being here. Oh, that's me. Hi. What an exciting time, but also what a perilous time. I might get in trouble for this, but as the late and great Representative John Lewis said, maybe this is good trouble. It's a hard time to be a proponent of sustainable and regenerative stewardship of our world. Climate change and global warming have all of a sudden become bad words. There seems to be an assault on education and science itself. And critical programs are either being defunded or eliminated that are helping us, protect our planet and become better stewards of our planet. So yeah, these are difficult times and we're feeling it across the board. But, I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to give in to despair. I like to always speak about hope. And lately, as I've been thinking about the Green Growth Initiative and thinking about a path forward, I was first of all thinking about the hope I gained from inspirational and steadfast leaders like Dean Patty Cohen. Let's give her a big round of applause. She is. And the leadership also offered by Governor Arnold Palacios, who couldn't be with us today, but sends his deepest regards. And also our friends from Guam, especially at the University of Guam's Sea Grant program, led by Dr. Austin Shelton. Let's give them a big round of applause. Leaders like that give me hope. Leaders like you give me hope. But what also gives me hope is thinking about a historical figure that I truly admire. And if we could advance to the next slide so we can show a picture of this. So this is Oscar Romero. He was the Archbishop of San Salvador in El Salvador. And he was a pioneer of what is known as liberation theology. Liberation theology is a movement in Catholic Church that tries to take the church's social justice teachings and put them into action. And he put the teachings into action. He was critical of the corrupt government at the time. He tried to preach against a lot of the violence and the government corruption that was taking over. He was especially critical of the military government that went after the left-leaning insurgents that were fighting in El Salvador. And he really pushed for social justice. He really pushed for it. And sadly, in 1980, while celebrating Mass, he was assassinated in the church. And it was truly a sad time, but his memory was etched in stone by another priest, Father Ken Udener, who wrote a prayer dedicated to Oscar Romero. And I'd like to read that prayer to you because this prayer gives me hope, because it kind of sets in context who we are and what we do, as stewards here, as members of this CNMI Green Growth Initiative. So, bear with me as I read this prayer. It helps now and then to step back and take a long view. The kingdom is not only beyond our efforts, it is even beyond our vision. We accomplish in our lifetime only a tiny fraction of the magnificent enterprise that is God's work. Nothing we do is complete, which is a way of saying that the kingdom always lies beyond us. No statement says all that could be said. No prayer fully expresses our faith. No confession brings perfection. No pastoral visit brings wholeness. No program accomplishes the church's mission. No set of goals and objectives includes everything. This is what we are about. We plant the seeds that will one day grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing that they hold future promise. We lay foundations that will need further development. We provide yeast that produces far beyond our capabilities. We cannot do everything. And there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something and to do it very well. It may be incomplete, but it is a beginning, a step along the way, an opportunity for the Lord's grace to enter and do the rest. We may never see the end results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders. Ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of the future, not our own. Again, we are prophets of the future, not our own. Amen. Let's give it up for Archbishop Oscar Romero. It can be hard, right? We do so much and then we realize maybe it's too little, too late. But we should never give up hope. We should never give up our passion. We should never give up our conviction to do what is right, even if we think it's accomplishing nothing. Because we may think it accomplishes nothing, but as I've shared many, many times before, it's like that story of the girl walking along the beach right after the tide has gone out. And she sees a bunch of starfish that have been laid out on the beach, left on the beach. And if they don't get put back in the water, they will die in the sun. And she walks along the beach and she picks up a starfish and she throws it back in the water. She goes along and she picks up another one and throws it back in the water. And then she comes across this old fisherman who says, "Young girl, how do you expect to save all of them? That's impossible." And she said, she reaches down, picks up a starfish, throws it in the ocean, looks at him and says, "Well, I saved that one." So let's do that. Let's save the world one starfish at a time, one person at a time, one island at a time, and together we will be prophets of a future not our own, but a future that will be bright and a future that our generations to come deserve. And as I often say at the end of every speech at NMC, because I sincerely mean it, because we all need to protect ourselves, we all need to protect our mental health, and we all need to maintain the forward momentum that is embodied in NMC's program. Stay safe, stay calm, and sail on. Thank you very much.
Dr. G, clarity and purpose. I think those are two of the hallmark things that Dr. G brings to the college and of course to our community. So thank you so much. Oh, one more thing.
But wait, there's more. I get carried away. You can look up Oscar Romero's prayer, but we also have, and this is non-denominational, I'm not violating church of state, the separation of church and state, but we have prayer cards to pass out to inspire you so that whenever you feel despairing, refer to the prayer. It's small enough that you can keep it in your pocket or in your wallet or in your purse or your satchel, whatever you have. Please take this with you and remember that we are prophets of the future, not our own. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. G. Let's give him another round of applause. All right. We'd like to now call up someone from NMC Crees to lead us in a short mindfulness activity before we proceed with all of the rich discussions that we'll have today. So please help me welcome our Extension Agent for Agroforestry and Food and Nutrition Security, Jesse De Leon Guerrero.
Hafide, welcome. Let's find a comfortable seat. Let your body settle. And I invite everyone to gently close your eyes. Relax. Let the outside world soften. Bring both your feet flat on the ground. Feel the soles of your feet making contact with our earth. Let your hands gently rest on your lap. Palms down or up, whatever feels right to you. Now let your shoulders relax. Take a moment to simply arrive. Now begin with a deep, full breath. Inhale and exhale. Again, slowly. Inhale and exhale. Draw your attention to your feet. Feel the ground beneath you, solid and steady. Let it support you fully. Imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet. Down, down into the earth, anchoring you. You are grounded, you are safe, you are supported. Now bring that awareness slowly through your legs. Your thighs, your hips, moving gently into your core and arriving at your heart. Feel the steady rhythm of your heart. Beating peacefully, softly, like a quiet drum grounding you into this present moment. Now shift your focus to your breath. It's a natural rhythm in and out. Inhale and exhale. Notice, is there any tension anywhere in your body? Perhaps a tightness near your jaw, your shoulders, or a slight pause on the top of your breath. Just notice. Without judgment, with each inhale, gently invite that tension to release. Inhale clarity, exhale stress. Let it go. Melt it into the earth beneath you. Now, bring your awareness to your hands. Begin to softly wiggle your fingers. Tiny movements like the leaves of a fluttering tree. Feel the connection to the earth extend all the way to your fingertips. Roll your wrists gently. Let the movement travel through your arms. Stretch a little if it feels good. You are a tree, grounded, strong, yet flexible. Breathe in deeply. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly let your hands return to your lap. Let them rest. And when you are ready, gently, softly, return. Open your eyes. There is no rush. Take your time. Bring your awareness back to the room. Carrying with you a sense of grounded calm. You are ready for today. Rooted, centered, and at peace. Inhale. Exhale. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. All right, so the agenda says that I'm going to talk about a little bit of a new movement that we're going to have with green growth. So for the past year, a little less than a year, we've been focusing, a lot of the focus of green growth has been on regenerative food systems. And you're going to hear later today from some of the committee members who've been working on some of these initiatives. We've been showing some of the videos in our standby slides as well. And also on your QR code, you're going to see, if you haven't received the email, there's some accomplishments that we have jointly been able to reach from when we kicked off Green Growth, which was just in March of 2024, up until December. But since that time, there's been some additional movement, and unfortunately we don't have time today to talk about all of the additional movements that we're making, but I did want to talk about some quick ones. First of all, we have Dr. Sarkar, our food scientist and program leader. Dr. Sarkar, can you raise your hand? Yeah. So I think folks don't know this, Dr. Sarkar has several patents. One of his patents is a green technology patent, where he's basically created a way where you don't use any harmful chemicals as part of an extraction and analysis method. So he's made some great progress, and we've just filed a patent in the US, and the patent is specifically focused on using his green technology and some new discoveries that have been made specifically on CNMI noni. So a big accomplishment for the college. So let's give Dr. Sarkar a hand. We have our PSS folks here, our Commissioner of Education, Erin Camacho, representing the Child Nutrition Program, and we have just finished phase 1 of a project where we're looking at decreasing plate waste from the public school system and private school system meals, and decreasing single-use plastic, styrofoam, etc. usage. And so we have some very interesting initial findings on that, but we're looking to basically see how we can redesign and re-engineer the school meal program. So that feeds about 9,000 of our students breakfast and lunch throughout the year. And I wanted to add that as a result of PSS and Erin, the Child Nutrition Program's incredible work, we will also, next school year, this school year, we've had introduction of local produce into the school meals. And next year, there will be introduction of locally grown starches into our school meals as well. So let's give it up for PSS, Child Nutrition Program, and Head Start. A lot of interest in that work from the US affiliated Pacific and the Western states. So now we're going to talk about what our new emphasis area is going to be. And it's really exciting because we have a number of tourism professionals. Now, I'm going to ask we did this mindfulness exercise for a reason, because some people might think that the video we're going to share, we're going to just show maybe 7 to 10 minutes of it, but it's a new way of thinking. It's a different way of thinking about tourism. So I'd just like to ask for everyone's open-mindedness as we show this video and talk a little bit about what's going to happen next, our new emphasis area for the Green Growth Initiative.
Is about reconnecting with our land, with our Vanua, with our nature. When you say the term Vanua, it's a land where you belong.
The Pacific Islands and the global environment tourism has been touted, as a billion-dollar industry, to motivate people. But something's wrong with this picture when you say to the local guy, "Oh, we're a couple billion-dollar industry." He looks around and says, "I can't see it reflected anywhere."
A cruise company, in many cases, it will take large numbers of people, it's therefore volume focused, into areas which simply do not have the infrastructure to cope with that.
With the old model of tourism, it's always about filling beds and filling seats on planes. But that's aspiring for a mass tourism model and encouraging locals to be workers, not business owners. A waiter, housekeeping, gardener, or the whole performance story that we always hear. But that's all staged. It has pushed us to try and be like someone that we are not. And at the end of the day, most of the operators who were in the community just run broke, run dry, from trying to meet those standards which was not relevant to culture, to traditions, and to our way of life of our Vanua.
Tourists getting off go straight into a handicraft market which is put together artificially with products that are imported because they're going to be cheap. Isn't it wonderful we can have this cruise that's really cheap, not realizing the livelihood is being sucked out of the places they're visiting.
People use our silence as a measure of confidence in their vision for us. And I think I've had enough of that,
I've been lucky enough to witness some incredible regenerative initiatives around the world. And a movement that is unfolding in Vanuatu and across the Pacific now sits high on the list. Deeply rooted in the concept of Vanua, a connection between land, people and spirit that needs to be felt to be truly understood. This island nation is pioneering a new tourism hosting model that prioritises the well-being of its people and the preservation of its natural treasures.
All our friends from all over the world are here paving the way for a regenerative future.
Regenerative Vanua is a Pacifica-led not-for-profit connecting and supporting initiatives in Vanuas across the region. Their passionate team, generously funded by the Australian government, assembled 35 delegates from the Pacific and beyond to take part in a unique regenerative journey.
They will form the spirit. So you are witnessing the spirit now. It's that spirit that is moving on those people. So if you want to join, you can go. Close your eyes and then close your eyes. Close your eyes. Thank you.
It didn't take long to realise just how unique this journey would be. adventure was the beautiful island of Ambrym.
Ambrym, or as we know it, or Tumbrym as they call it traditionally here, is known as the island of magic. Magic is the traditional beliefs that help us live in harmony with nature. So we acknowledge nature for and how it provides for us and how we respect them back.
Jesse is the traditional custom owner of this land. He's just welcomed us now. Feel free to ask questions here. We will be here to support, helping them telling the story of their Vanuatu. Thank you.
These are wisdom of the elders and our ancestors that nature gave to them to be able to cultivate this land so that it benefit us in the long run. And that's what traditions do.
For us in the Pacific, we've really seen tourism as another wave of colonisation, the way that it has been developed and managed. What we've found is tourism hasn't been about the local populations. Globally, we're seeing a pushback on that. So now you're seeing protesting throughout Europe, Venice, etc., where communities are just uprising and saying tourism is taking over our communities and it's taking over us and our place.
It's a difference between need and want. Need is more focusing on what is important for your soul because you're feeling a spirit. When you're taking a local chicken, you're taking a taro from the Vanua, you are taking the ancestors. And if you take what you need, your spirits communicate. And when they accept each other, you are at peace. For me, regenerative agritourism is about reconnecting with our land, with our Vanua, with our nature.
Got 8 kilos. Yeah, 8 kilos.
This is how our elders learned. They saw what land offered.
Okay, we don't want to, it's a 28-minute video, but we definitely have some differences with our brothers and sisters across the Pacific, but we also have a tremendous amount of similarities and how we've been told tourism should be. If we don't have this, if we don't have malls, if we don't have this, we should be ashamed of our place. And I just don't buy into that mentality because we have so many beautiful and special things about our islands, and it's time to add another model for how we attract tourists to our islands. And so with that, I wanted to invite folks today, sorry, can we put that slide up, Michaela? So I wanted to invite folks today to join us on this new chapter in the CNMI, or maybe it's a re-envisioned chapter of the CNMI, focusing on regenerative tourism. And NMC is going to be a hub for Micronesia to promote regenerative tourism and to start a movement towards adding a new dimension to how we do tourism in our islands across the Pacific. And so when we get into breakout sessions later, if this spoke to you, or if you have insight into this field, if you have passion, we have a couple of folks here who are gearing up to do one of the CNMI's very first regenerative tourism packages, then please come join that particular committee. All right? Oh yeah, sorry, the bus. So if you are going on the field trip, the bus is here. So feel free to help yourself exit. Maybe they already did. All right. So we'll take one or two comments about the video. Any comments or questions? Dr. G?
Well, I just think that, especially as we move forward with our green growth dashboard, right? There's a saying that in education, you measure what you value. And, you know, when it comes to the economy, we measure GDP, right? We measure hotel occupancy rates. When it comes to education, we measure things like student achievement. We measure things like student learning. So I wonder what would happen if we changed our approach to tourism and overall economic development, and we measured things that matter. You know, when it comes to environmental stewardship, we are moving in the direction of measuring carbon footprints. So I wonder if there'd be a really cool way to measure how we can support and celebrate and renew our cultures and our cultural values. And I think this gives us an idea of how we can move in that direction.
Thank you. One more comment or question? Tanya first, and then Director Joe. Tanya?
Thank you. I just wanted to add that I think everybody needs to think out of the box. So we can all be a part of tourism. We don't have to have the big hotels, but you yourself can be a contributor to that. Like, for example, you come to my farm, you can till the land and harvest the food that we grow, and that could be part of a tourism that doesn't necessarily attract 20,000 people to come, but we start small, and starting small will attract bigger numbers eventually. So that's it.
Thank you, Zania. You brought up a really good point. This is a different kind of marketing that happens when you do regenerative tourism. I got to try a regenerative experience myself, and I think one of the biggest differences was that aside from the importance of connection and culture and people from here really taking ownership of perpetuating our culture and our ways of doing and being, it's also the people who are running the regenerative tourism are also regenerating themselves. So it's not this high stress, oh my goodness, there's a rhythm to it. And it's quite different if you've only been exposed to other models of mass tourism. Director.
Thank you, Patty. The video is so enlightening. I'm so used to being a law enforcement officer, never being diverted to any other stuff but law enforcement. But just watching the video is so eye-opening. But something also that you said, Patty, that really struck something in my mind. We're hosting the Oceania Customs Organization on 2028. And everything is shutting down here that is tourist-related, shops, DFS, and that, that big white building right smack in the middle of Saipan. So what am I going to show? These 24 countries that are coming into the CNMI. And Patty mentioned something about agri-tourism. And I think that's more beneficial, more love probably with the countries that are visiting us is agriculture, agri-tourism. And thank you, Patty. And I think, we'll make NMC Greece part of the visits for this representatives that will be coming on 2028. Amen. And thank you very much for giving me an idea this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Director.
I just wanted to add the video that we just saw. I think that concept is not new here in the CNMI. As a young boy, I remember back in the mid-70s when we had our boat, my dad used to go out fishing, and before the tourism boom here with the Japanese and without the big hotels, we used to have a lot of Japanese tourists come to the islands, and all they wanted to do was go out and fish, right? And so, there's a lot of parallelism in terms of, that aspect of agritourism and also the fishing. And so that concept is not new. It's basically something that we need to go back and revisit that's that's ingrained within us to share our culture and how we fish and how we gather our food. And that's what people back in the day, and I don't want to out my age, but that's what we used to do is promote that part of our culture.
And I apologize, I forgot to add that 500 Sales, they've done a couple of presentations internationally at the Local 2030, which is like all the green growth countries, talking about regenerative tourism and our maritime culture and how they're connecting with people, teaching them about what we're doing here, what our culture is about, and also part of the regenerative tourism model is asking the tourists, inviting the tourists to help give back to our community in non-monetary ways as well. So another great example. Let's give it up for 500 Sales.
Patty, we've got a question over here with Victoria.
Hi everybody, more so a comment, and NMC is already pushing this effort in really bringing light to the Marianas as more of a research hub for all of our natural resources. And something that became apparent to me in the last few years is that there's a market for people that are also interested in indigenous species and really appealing to those. Like, for example, we have so many birds that are worthy of that attention, and really just changing our marketing tactics to focus more on our natural resources, our natural environment, and not just mimicking Guam, not just mimicking Hawaii, because with all of the larger industries like DFS closing down, we're seeing it's not working. So we have to work with what we have, and really, a lot of us here, especially those born and raised, we stayed home for a reason. It's not just, the slower pace in our community, that work-life balance, that's a huge value to each and every one of us. But there is a beauty in our community that I think a lot of the time we let our colonized minds think is not good enough and is not beautiful enough. And so focusing on investing in those hikes, those local hikes where people are looking for adventure, not just another mall, right? Because I've already gotten, I'm privileged enough to say I'm tired of going to a mall when I travel. But now the trends these days is how do we elevate our experience where we're at? It's not just about going to Japan, but what did you experience Japan? It's not just about going to South Korea, it's what did you experience in South Korea? So really reframing our marketing tactics to be, what can we give an experience as a Marianas community in the Pacific? And having almost a common narrative in our Pacific region, that we are a unique culture with a unique voice and a unique perspective, that we don't have to build skyscrapers, we have the beauty of the land, and otherwise we wouldn't be here, right? So that, I think, adds to the regenerative model with this green growth initiative, is looking inward and seeing the beauty of what we already have to offer and investing in those natural resources rather than just being a copycat that isn't working, right? So that's just a comment that video inspired.
Yeah, great. All right. Wonderful dialogue, great comments. Like I said, later on when we break out into our groups, our teams, I'm gonna facilitate a discussion because we have some very important things coming down the pipes that we're gonna need to send representatives from the CNMI to get with our Pacific brothers and sisters to scale up regenerative tourism here. So with that, are we having a photo? Okay, where are we gonna have the photo? Michaela? Okay, so can we just all quickly go outside? We'll get the photo, we'll come back in, and Jerry's gonna give us her updates on the dashboard. Rep. Ellie. And Rep. Ellie is currently #1 in the A+ list of elected officials who shows up when we ask him to. So, thank you, Rep. Ellie. We also have our Saipan Mayor, Arvin Camacho. Mayor. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and I really, many of you received the notice. We had Jerry since September of 2024, Jerry Rogers. Yes, and Jerry is going back into the mission field, literally, and she's going to be moving back to GCA as principal in July. Yeah. We have our Youth Congressman Aiden Yumo representing GCA. Yeah. Thank you, Congressman Aiden. So Jerry has done an incredible job in the short time that she's been with Green Growth. She's been with the college longer than that. But we just wanted to acknowledge her for everything that she's done, and she's still going to support Green Growth. Yes. And I did want to mention, before we call Jerry up to take us through what progress we've made with the Green Growth dashboard, that we do plan on announcing a Green Growth position, and we're actually going to elevate the position. So right now, we're working through whether we're going to announce it as a director position at CREES, or if it's going to be a program leader position at CREES, which also means you have a research or extension appointment. So please be on the lookout for that announcement. We had some really great candidates last time for Green Growth Manager, and we're looking again at a very competitive pool for either director or program leader of Green Growth. So without further ado, Jerry, why don't you come and take us through the progress we've made on the dashboard.
Good morning and buenas, everybody. So wonderful to be with you. Before I do begin, I'd like to call on Sabrina, who is our director for BECQ. She wanted to tell you a little bit about the table decorations. So Sabrina? Or is there a representative for Sabrina? Maybe she'll be coming in a little bit later. All right. Well, again, I just appreciate being able to present the dashboard for you. I'm probably fangirling over Dr. G. He says so many quotable quotes, and one of them is that we measure what is important to us. So the dashboard really collectively is a measurement or a report card for the entire CNMI. And as I walk you through it, the link is displayed if you guys do want to view it on your own laptop, on your own devices. If you experience any challenges, the CNMI Green Growth Hub at marianas.edu would be the place to send us your suggestions to make it more user-friendly. So here we go. This is the landing page that you'll arrive whenever you type in CNMI Green Growth. It's a beautiful picture of our Maniagaha Islands. I want to give a shout out to our CREES media, particularly Michaela Gatula, and she designed the wheel here with the CNMI Green Growth in the middle of it. So let's give it up for our CREES media and Michaela. She makes us look amazing. So as we go through the dashboard, you'll notice if you go ahead and Google G3, which happens to be the Guam Green Growth, it's laid out similarly along with the Aloha Challenge. This is hosted through S3 or ArcGIS, and we have a sponsorship through the Local 2030. I want to take you guys through some of these goals, scorecards, and some of these are going to indicate, you know, some numbers here. If you guys see something that's hyperlinked, it will take you to more data. So just on these teams, this is the Healthy and Prosperous Community. This is chaired by Commissioner of Education and Joe Guerrero. They'll be presenting in a moment, but this is their dashboard, or I'm sorry, they're the Cultivate Foundational Resources one, and then Healthy and Prosperous has to do with the CHCC and all of their partners. So for the first thing I wanted to point out is that we've got an increased growth in the number of farms. So if you guys see these tabs here, you would click on and you'll see that the numbers are increasing. And the source for this is the CNMI Census of Agriculture. And we've got the average obesity rate, which is alarming. This is essentially 7 out of 10 individuals who are considered obese. And we want to address that through different initiatives. So I would like to point out on your right, the Walk and Roll. We're partnering with various organizations on island to help to ameliorate and take this rate down. So with the Walk and Roll, it meets every Wednesday. You guys are welcome to join us at the 13 Fisherman Oud. You get your blood checked, blood glucose checked, your blood pressure checked, and then you can go on a walk and come back and get it rechecked again. And it's just a really great initiative. We appreciate all our partners with that. We've got fairly high rate of alcohol use. Then our rate of tobacco is 21%, and we have average traffic fatalities at 3. As we move on to cultivate foundational resources, we have a 14% CNMI unemployment rate. We've got the violence cases listed as 117, and all of the sources of data are going to go through each year from 2015 and onward. I want to point out some highlights. We've got, for the CNMI public school system, average graduation rate of 86%. That is awesome. So almost 90, and I believe we're capping it higher. Yes, let's give it up for the CNMI PSS. For our NMC, our graduate degree, our associate degree graduation rate was at 12% in 2008, but as we go through the data here, we will see that it is climbing, even in spite of the pandemic and the different challenges that we've had. So the NMC college data, it's from the Citizen-Centric Report. I'm happy to report that we've got 2,363 graduates since 2014. So let's give it up for NMC. There's more detailed information if you guys click through all of these. I also want to give a shout out to our other sister organization, and that is NMTech. We do have our CEO, Jordina Atau, present. Woo! And let's give it up for them. We have total graduates from 2019 to 2022 at 74. And 66 for just 2023. And I'm certain that those numbers also will increase. I wanted to feature the resilient, sustainable, and empowered communities. We're in the process of getting more information, and these metrics were compiled by Team 4, which is headed by Mr. Mariano Iglesias and Kevin Watson, and they do have representatives who will be updating this data later on this morning. Stewardship of land and sea, we've got an incredible partnership with Sabrina and DEQ. Just want to thank them so much for allowing us to embed the CNMI Green Growth Convening into this week for the Pacific Islands Environmental Symposium and Training. So let's give it up for them. We've got a partnership from Pacific Coastal Research, and they were able to give us some data regarding removal of invasive species, these African tulips. So when you click on this, you'll be able to see there's more data across the CNMI in terms of trees that have been planted by CREES, trees that have been planted by MENA, and then you do have the data that's coming also for PCRP.
And any PCR, are the PCRP people here? Yes, raise your hand.
We've got Robbie and
they're pointing at each other.
we have Grace, and Grace is an alumni.
And Mark is an alumni too.
And Mark, yes, that's right. Awesome. Yes, let's give a good round of applause. Here we go. I'm proud to say that over just the course of the 6 months that I've been here, we've been able to document the partnerships that we've made locally. So we do have 40 of those partnerships. And I just want to thank all those of you who have shared data with me that is embedded in the dashboard. Lastly, I just want to highlight the genuine security, peace, and prosperity. We have Women's Affairs represented today. We also have VOC represented today. And we are I believe we have a representative from the coalition, and I don't know the full name of that with Maisie Tenorio. So if those representatives are here, would you just wave or stand up where you are? Maybe they're shy. Oh, right here? Yay, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, I got a call this morning asking, hey Jerry, are we supposed to put together a report, of what has been updated in our data? So this is going to be coming in the next iteration of the dashboard. There'll be a request for your local review. In other words, a report of your metrics and what's being accomplished and maybe what's changed because your previous metrics maybe were not speaking directly to the SDGs. All of the SDGs are laid out here. If you click on them, you'll notice that there is reports of our 10-year goal, our CNMI 10-year goal. We're hoping to reduce the CNMI poverty level by 15%. We also have the 3 to 5 SMART objectives, and these were all, again, they were put into place by that team that is related to SDG number 1. And the last thing I just want to point out as we go through the scorecards is that we do have events that are coming and something that we're going to embed. And then lastly, all of the footers here, it does acknowledge the Office of the Governor, NMC CREES, the Local 2030, who did sponsor our membership in ESRI. The CNMI Office of Planning and Development, as you guys know, they did begin looking at the Sustainable Development Goals, and we thank them for their foundational work. The quick links down below are mirroring the ones across the top, and then there's a web accessibility statement. So those of you guys who are in the specific teams, maybe you don't remember which ones they are, but our impact is here, and it just gives you a foundation, a bit of a background as to all of the different teams. We've listed the teams here, the photos when the governor signed into his executive order the establishment of the Green Growth Initiative, the writing plan, and I want to end with this. So we've got our Green Growth working teams. If I call your name, we'll just hold our applause to the end, but I'm going to feature some of the individuals right now, and if you are going to be a designee for these team chairs, please let us know and just give us a wave. So we've got Team 1, Cultivate Foundational Resources. This is again chaired by Commissioner of Education, Dr. Lawrence Camacho and Joe Guerrero. On Team 2, the chair is Ms. Shauna Babalta of Mango. Team 3, we have Genuine Security, Peace, and Prosperity, which is vacant as a co-chair, but this was chaired by Damian De Leon Guerrero. Team 4, this is Resilient, Sustainable, and Empowered Communities, chaired by Kevin Watson, Ivana Gumaro, and Marion Iglesias. And Team 5, Stewardship of Land and Sea, chaired by Sabrina Shai de la Cruz, and the co-chair spot is vacant. For Team Nexus, this is chaired by Auntie Frances Sablan and Vilma Reyes of NMC. So I just want to thank everybody again for going through this with me. And yes, please do email the CNMI Green Growth Hub at marianas.edu for any suggestions to make this more accessible and user-friendly. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you so much, Jerry. Now we are going to move on and we'll have some presentations by some of the teams. We wanted to keep this half a day or half day, so we won't We're waiting for them to come up. Let's acknowledge the presence of our PSS Board of Education Chairman, Kodep Uladongo Gumaro, who just flew in from Guam.
Yes, so good morning, Hafade, Turuwami, to all of you. It's great, wonderful, beautiful morning actually, even though with the clouds. I just want to start off by introducing my co-chair here, Joe Guerrero from the Chamber of Commerce. I am Lawrence Camacho. Go on to the next slide, please. Cultivating foundational resources. You know, and we have our team members here, and I just recruited another member in our team, Chairman of the Board of Education, CODEP, is going to join us in Team 1. And I just want to mention something. As the Commissioner of Education, daily do I always want to make sure and I think about the achievement, learning achievements and student achievement of our students each and every day and how they grow. And that is in of itself a busy thing, right? To think about and to kind of operate and make sure that is ongoing. But Chairman Ogumuro, since he arrived as chairman this January this year, I was just really feeling really good when it comes to sustainability because he takes a great passion in making sure that he works with me, I work with him, we work alongside each other to drive sustainability or regenerative initiatives, and especially through our students. And so with the Center for Island Sustainability Conference that just occurred a month or two ago, I think, in Guam, out of the University of Guam, he asked that he would bring students, and we have our student leaders here who participated in that. It was just a wonderful thing. And from there, he made sure that they collaborated with the other students from the other islands at that conference. And it was just great, wonderful thing to learn that was going on in Guam, and then he brought them back, and we continue to engage with our students. It is important to engage with the next generation of leaders, the next generation of problem solvers, the next generation of designers of the Commonwealth's future. My job is to make sure that they're educated and identify as people from this place and understand their culture and all the things that are important in the way of values. So that then when they graduate and they become adults and they become those leaders, problem solvers, and designers, they have a sense of responsibility, and then they can then design this. They have a stake in this. And when I was looking at the video this morning, I was thinking, the people there owned what we call probably a problem. Well, these students I challenged to make sure that they continue on that path to making sure that they design the future for the ones that come after them in a great and wonderful way. The thing though is that they are perhaps distracted with so many things. I was just telling one of the student leaders this morning that when I was growing up here, it was easy for me to learn the principles and the values that was instilled in me as a person growing up in a little village to the north, because there was not a lot of other distractions around me. It was just the environment that I was living with, I was playing in, and I was operating in. Today, our students are filled with a lot of other things. And as they are filled with a lot of other things, there is an opportunity. The opportunity lies in the technology that they have in their hands. And if they could share that with others, as we were talking about tourism this morning, they then would be helping us as a community. Because if they share with other people from around the globe, because they're connected, they can share the greatness of our Commonwealth. But I'll end it by saying that, just see if Joe has anything.
Alpha Data Tiro. I walked in this morning a little confused because I thought this was a small meeting. But then I realized that our community is very fortunate to have this many young people in the room, myself included. I'm just kidding. I just turned 50, so that's a joke on me. But no, it's nice, and Commissioner Camacho said, it's very important that we have a lot of youth and young people because this is their future, right? We're the older adults here planning for your future. So Please stay involved, young folks, young at heart, stay involved, and I'm very excited to share a little bit about what we have. I don't know how much time we have, but I'll have Dr. Camacho do it.
We're going to be quick here, but also this month's newsletter, we have a newsletter in the newspaper every month, and for public school system, it's called Students First, Educators Always newsletter. This is the month where it says taking stock on sustainability, and it talks about that trip that I mentioned earlier. I alluded to the fact that Chairman brought some student leaders to Guam and all that, and all the great wonderful things that are happening. So we'll continue to update through the dashboard and to the community through our even newsletters from our education community. Next, also ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education to promote this lifelong learning that our students are. That's a very broad goal, right? Because it is a goal, but then underneath that goal, what are the objectives that we have to meet along the way in order to reach that goal? And then what are the actions that we're taking? So just bear in mind and rest assured that there's a lot of things already happening in the public school system across the Commonwealth, throughout our district, and then connecting to the Northern Marianas College and to the NM Tech. Next slide. So over the next 5 years, we want to increase the percentage of high school graduates to successfully transition to career pathways. That is important. Right now we have high school requirements that the students have to undertake when they're in high school. So at the moment they come into 9th grade, they end up taking all those, getting all those requirements fulfilled, and then they graduate. We're saying no. Not just that, we have to determine which pathways to guide our students through college or a certain career pathway, whether it be professional careers or the technological careers, and then we can link them into the other higher education opportunities. We have to do that in a very strategic fashion. And it says advanced technical education. I think I'm going to go ahead and add also, we got to be strong in educating our students about the environment. They're learning environmental science and all that in high school, but we got to be more targeting and more precise in the way we operate that, because we got to teach them about our own environment. And so we're working on an initiative to have a place-based education. So it's going to be place-based and then career-based type education that we're after. When it comes to place-based, we have to teach our students from the get-go in the elementary grades, growing up, to this place that they live in and operate and play in, right? So our textbooks are going to be changed over to things of the Northern Marianas. We're instituting the Covenant and the Constitution and all that this coming year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Every student will learn about the Covenant and the Constitution, whether they're in 1st grade or 12th grade. They would have some sort of lesson on that. And then we'll continue to change our textbooks to meet that. But we want to also connect and be focused beyond the enrollment in higher education, and we have a grant that is taking us on the moment the child is from pre-kindergarten all the way to, we call it grade 20, which is beyond college, into the careers. So we're monitoring and we're tracking that data to inform us on what the important things are that we're going to need to help our students with. And then increasing 5% of the graduates. So you saw the graduation rate was 86%. That's really, what happens is we measure 2 ways. We measure the cohort of 9th graders, freshmen, going into high school on a certain year, and we watch them, that cohort, and we calculate the graduation rate of the entire cohort that becomes 9th graders for that particular year. And 86% means that the factors involved in that that would impact that percentage would be the dropouts, the retention, the other issues that students go through. So if 100 come in on a certain year, and in 4 years, only 86 of them graduate, that means the others have gone into different ways. Maybe they have transferred out as well, out of our school district. And then we have people coming in to our school district as well. So it's a complicated thing, but 86% is a very good rate. Now, the other way of rating our high school graduates is all the 12th graders that come in that year, and then how many of them graduate. That we're in the 95 percentile when it comes to that type of measure. Working economic growth promotes sustainability. Okay, next. That's our goal number 8. And then, all these things that we're doing is to make sure that the lives of our students, then when they become adults, then they graduate, it's that type of portrait that type of adult that we're trying to create out of this. Next.
So Sustainable Development Goal number 8 is really a tough one, but sort of all-encompassing, right? These are very big picture keywords: sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. That's like a heavy lift. That's a heavy goal. So we have the hardest task, I believe, Team 1. But these again are just broad objectives that we came up with and are pursuing. I won't go through each and every one of them, but just 8.2 stands out to me about increasing wage levels to a living wage, and that's a common concept being pushed in many communities. Rather than having a one-size-fits-all federal policy, for example, like for our island community in the CNMI, where we should determine what a living wage is within the CNMI. Maybe it's even different between Intinian and Rhoda, and so we have to do that for ourselves and then work towards achieving that and ensuring that there's pay equity between genders. Again, there's too many, goals and objectives, but I just want to highlight a few. SDG 8.4, and wasn't sure up there. This I thought was interesting. We had a lot of good conversation about workplace flexibility, and as we all know, going through COVID, that a lot of things change how we work, how we interact with others, both at home and at work. And so one of the concepts is to create this sort of new way of thinking about work, where there's remote work, part-time work. You don't have to have full-time work to have full-time happiness. And so this rethinking of how we work. I always thought that it was strange how government started at 7:30 and ended at 4:30. And there's historical ties to why that is, but why not 9 to 5 like many other countries? So we're not rushing to work and almost hitting people on the road just to drop our kids and get to work before 8. And so just little things like that where we're going to challenge existing systems and concepts and hopefully lead to better outcomes. Can we just go ahead and move to SDG 9? I'll hand this off to my co-chair, if that's okay.
So building resilient infrastructure, promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. I think we are seeing a lot of that already happening out of the Northern Rose College. I was driving to work this morning to the office before I came here, and the advertisement out of CDI, or is it SBDC's Innovation Incubator, it was a wonderful thing. I thought, wow, going to this Green Growth Initiative convening, and here it is, we're actually working on that, so great job on that. Let's give them a big round of applause, NMC. They're doing a great job. That's an institution. I advertise NMC. There's my friends from UOG. Make sure you don't tell them there, but I do advertise NMC a lot, even though I'm a UOG. I graduated.
And the SBDC director's here, Nadine.
Nadine is here. Let's give her a big round of applause. Great job on that.
She's on our team, by the way.
She's on Team 1, right? And the nickname for Team 1, by the way, is Team Awesome. All of us have a middle name called Awesome. Okay, so we're going to continue on. So we got a lot of stuff. Promotable, sustainable, foster innovation systems. There's a lot of things that we've been talking about on. So we're looking at education, and then we're looking at the workforce, and we're looking at what opportunities this workforce that we produce out of the education, the quality education that we strive for, are going to be landing into. And when they land into these opportunities, they better be regeneration type initiatives supporting, right? The industries that we invite to our islands, we want to make sure they're also responsible to the environment. So those are some of the things that we're every day talking about, right?
And then last SDG 9.3 was to, let's see, is to upgrade our infrastructure. And I know a lot of that is going on right now with what you can see and feel, but there are a lot of infrastructure improvements that we cannot feel, see, or hear. And so like infrastructure developments and fiber connectivity throughout the whole CNMI with the broadband project and other resiliency projects that's being undertaken by CSU, for example. These go a long way to ensuring that we're sustainable, especially in being resilient with our natural disasters and how we're so prone to super typhoons. So we thought that was very important because as we've seen in the last super typhoons, that really set us back 1, 2, 3 years in a lot of ways and impedes our progress. So if we have a strong infrastructure, it'll help us bounce back and be better.
Excellent. Last slide. Okay, so if I just have 20 words or less. If we grew up, and like I did, learning the values, and what I learned a lot when I was growing up was farming, right? Little country boy out in the northern part of the island, farming, right? Regeneration, right? So it's important. Left the island for 35 years. I did not have the opportunity to farm because I was in the military and doing all the other things there. But then coming back, I find myself farming, ranching. I love that, doing it. My point is, if we're going to be serious about it, you cannot just preach it. You got to do it. You got to be acting in it and be involved in it and participate in the same process, right? So that's one of my passions on the weekends, is just to go up to the mountains and continue to ranch.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great conference. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Joe and Dr. Camacho. All right, now we have our partners from Mango, Miss Lori Paterka. Everyone give it up for Lori. Lori's been a long time cultural initiatives, and she's really
Thank you, Patty and NMC and DCRM, DCQ for all of you putting this together. Great job. And to Jerry and getting the dashboard organized. So how many of you have heard of the Marinus Alliance of Non-Governmental Organizations, affectionately known as MANGO? Okay, well that's good, we're making progress. We got like 10% of the room, thank you for that. Our role is working to uplift the role of nonprofits in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals, our SDGs, here in the CNI. And today we'll just take a quick look at how we're building a stronger and more sustainable nonprofit sector with this in mind. And I'd also like to throw out Dr. G and a few other people, Patty and Jerry, we all talked about the fact that there is some hesitation about how we're feeling with regards to identifying with the SDGs or climate change or any of those things that are coming. But living here for over 30 years, I would ask you to think about the fact that the SDGs are really just our value systems expressed in a Western language. So we're not doing anything that's different or that should be judged or misjudged. We have the power to own our community and take ourselves down this pathway. Okay, so our mission is to nurture the nonprofit community in the CNMI, providing guidance, training, and services to ensure sustainability for a strong and stable nonprofit sector that actively enhances health and well-being of our community. The SDGs are an integral part of this mission, offering us a collective framework that anchors us to local impact. Next slide, please. We are guided by a board of directors and supported by a team of professional, passionate people that are very invested in community development. And every one of us is committed to aligning nonprofit services, next slide please, with long-term community goals. This is the staff that serves you on a daily basis. Next slide please. Mango is also a membership, oh, sorry, can you go back one? Okay, sorry, forward. I'm sorry, I only saw this morning, so I'm still getting familiar with it. Can you go forward one slide? No. Back one, back. There we go, stop there. Mango is a membership organization open to all CNMI-based nonprofits and supporters. Everything we do is rooted in community partnerships. Next slide. To build capacity, we offer a full range of services, from establishing nonprofits and board training to sustainability, financial management, and proposal development. These services are designed not only to strengthen nonprofits, but equip them with the tools to align with the SDGs in practice, not just theory. Next slide, please. We have 3 distinct programs that are designed with both community and SDG impact in mind. Each of these programs has a specific focus. The first one in helping nonprofits to navigate acquiring legislative funding. This project is very new and will only be launching at the end of this month or the beginning of July. And we'll be doing a community splash with that, and you'll be hearing more about that in the near future. Our Steadfast Core program, the Lamai May Nonprofit Incubator, helps provide core board development, which is essential to nonprofit sustainability. And then we have our Giving Voice to Native Nonprofits, and this is where we directly work with the SDG alignment by providing tools, training, and platforms to raise the visibility of nonprofits and shaping policy and programs. Next slide, please. Voices is what we call it for short, because it's a mouthful to always say the full project name. But it represents Mango's long-term vision. It's our roadmap to how nonprofits and the public and private sectors can actually build community together using the SDGs to guide our services, policy engagement, and impact. These efforts will shift our baseline, improve on our data collection, and lay the course for a movement. This movement is putting your community values into action. From this, we'll be building out and teaching data management, which will eventually culminate in an annual State of the CNMI Nonprofits report for community use. We will be helping set up opportunities to bring nonprofits and government agencies together to share information and build programs and projects for the community. I think it's the next slide. So how are we doing this through the Voices program? I'm sorry. Apologies. So these are the long-term community goals that are in the grant that produce specific deliverables. And these include an initial baseline report that we produced last December. We're in the process of finalizing a nonprofit database where the data that we're collecting will integrate with the GGI dashboard in the future. We're aiming to teach nonprofits about state planning and also helping government agencies to learn about the nonprofits that are available to them to help with capacity issues. In the process of all that, we all know that data is only as good as how you collect it. So we're working on helping to standardize data collection and management standards and engaging our community on what nonprofits are and what they're not. So many times in our community, we hear, oh, you mean those volunteer organizations? And we'd like to shift the mindset for you to understand that nonprofits can be so much more than that in our community. And again, the culmination of this will be an annual report so that you know what your community looks like. Next slide, please. So this is where the SDGs come to life, bridging the gap between nonprofits and state planners, where we will help nonprofits become recognized by funding partners, guide them in addressing service gaps, and strengthening their role in the local economic resilience planning. These efforts directly reflect and support CNMI's SDG themes like health, education, climate change, and reduced inequities. Next slide, please. Data is essential. It's through through tools like the Nonprofit Impact Report that we show, guys, that we educate our members on the broader goals from zero hunger to sustainable cities and ensuring that they can track their information, measure, and tell their story more effectively. Next slide, please. This is an example of what our nonprofit impact report will look like. Towards the end of this year, we'll be sharing with information that we collect from our members in an aggregate manner so that we can see what our current capacity is and where we're going and how we can build it to be better. Next slide, please. So they're creating the CNMI nonprofit database. It helps nonprofits manage their data and improve visibility and connect with donors and collaborators, and ultimately strengthen their reporting and impact, and all with an SDG lens. It's all about smarter and more strategic about how we operate and grow. Next slide, please. We believe that change comes from listening to every sector, every voice, government, private, nonprofits, and Mango can serve as the bridge that connects these voices, always returning to the SDGs as our shared language for progress. Next slide, please. Yeah, I got ahead of myself. Next slide, please. Yeah, keep going. Sorry, I got the whole thing for you. This is supposed to represent how we all intersect, and most of us in this room really only understand like 2 of those circles, but that there is a third product of GDP, and that would be the nonprofit sector. And if you'd like to talk more about that with us anytime, please drop by our office. We're located in Spring Plaza, right there by the Bank of Guam. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Lori, for stepping in at the last minute. It's wonderful. Great work being done by Mango, building the capacity of our nonprofit sector. And now we are going to share Team 2, which Shauna Babaut is the chair of Team 2, but she's out sick today. We have some very enthusiastic team members from Team 2 that are going to share some of the work they've been doing in fulfillment of our green growth work. So, can I please have from Mariana's Health Services, Suli, please come up. He's going to talk about Team 2's Walk on Wednesday project and just some really brief background. First, I wanted to thank our CHCC Public Health Director. Is she still here, Heather? Heather! Let's give Heather a round of applause. We have such high rates of non-communicable diseases, high rates of diabetes, high rates of undiagnosed diabetes as well. And I was appalled personally when I saw the percentage of people at the college, which is actually, considered one of the employers who pays fairly good salaries and wages, how many people we have that are uninsured, that have no insurance. And why do people not have insurance? Expensive, right? So it's like $600 a month if you get family health insurance, private health insurance, very expensive. So I'm gonna turn it over to Suli from Mariana's Health Services to talk a little bit about the WOW and the partnership.
Good morning, Bulvanaka everyone. As Dean Patty mentioned, my name is Suliasi, or Suli for short. And I represent Mariana's Health Services, and we are one of the partners that works with NMC in regards to the Walk on Wednesdays initiative. So just a brief background about Mariana's Health. We're a locally owned and operated company, and our mission or our goal is to provide quality and professional healthcare around the Pacific. And when we were established 25 years ago, the main goals was to provide healthcare services for patients in their home and to provide quality and professional healthcare support. So in our effort to provide sustainable healthcare solutions to the people, we We actively try to work with our local partners to provide healthcare solutions, to promote a healthier lifestyle. For those of you who may have been involved with the hybrid survey that was conducted by CHEC NCD team, more than 50% of the CNMI population deals with diabetes, for example, in some capacity. Either they're actively someone who's actively suffering from diabetes, or they're pre-diabetic. And over 50% is a large number for such a small population. And being that we are mostly Pacific Islanders with big families, we're all interrelated. So that just means that when one person suffers from an NCD like diabetes, it's not just them, it's their family, it's their community. And one of our goals is to promote a healthier lifestyle to reduce that rate and to overall uplift the health of the CNMI. So the initiative that we work with NMC is the Walk on Wednesdays. So Walk and Roll on Wednesdays is conducted every Wednesday from 4:30 to 6:30 down at the 13 Fishermen, where we encourage participants to come and get their blood pressure checked, get their blood sugar level checked, and then go for a walk, roll, or run, whichever they're comfortable with. And the aim of that is, the reason that we do the blood sugar check, for example, we do a pre-walk and a post-walk check. And it's really interesting because blood sugar is one of those things that after short exercise you can see an immediate effect on. So in other ways, if you go and exercise at the gym, for example, you might not see your weight change straight away. But if you take your blood sugar, you go for a 30-minute walk, you can see an immediate effect on that. So that's just one of the ways that we try to use to encourage more people to be active, because we want them to see that simple acts of, little bits of exercise can actually have an immediate and huge effect on your overall health. And since we started doing the Walk on Wednesdays again, we've had over 400 tested and had over 200 unique results, which is really great. We see lots of people. We even have regulars that actually plan their Wednesday afternoons around coming down to take part in this. And we definitely encourage more people in the community to take advantage of this, get your blood pressure checked, your blood sugar checked, and come and experience, be part of something that has a positive effect on the community at large. And just really briefly, I don't want to take up too much time, just a brief glance of some of the services that we provide at Mariana's Mariana's Health Services, sorry. So we have Mariana's Home Care, Allied Medical Supplies of Pacific Wellness Center, 7 Family Clinic, and we also run the HAF Initiative, which is, again, it's a pre-diabetes prevention program. And that's all I have for today, so thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Suli. And again, this would not be possible without Mariana's Health Services sending their team to help us do the measurements, CHCC sending their team members to help us do the measurements and taking the lead in sharps disposal and heart-eye clinic, and really our NMC nursing students. So we have all of these different organizations that are helping us run the Walk on Wednesday, and we already have a cadre of people who are coming back every other week, some of them every week, and we're seeing improvements in their blood glucose and their blood pressure. And again, it's all free services for our Commonwealth, and in 6 months, we will be expanding to Rhoda and Tinian. So please participate, please encourage your family members to participate as well. All right, so next I'm going to call up Mr. Glenn Mangronia, and he is part of Team 2, and Glenn is the chairman for the Cadman Farmers and Producers Association. He's also the chairman for the Soil Water Conservation District. You've probably heard him on his show, Mariana Zaguba, and he's going to share about some of the work he's been doing in his capacity on Team 2.
Okay, thank you, Dean Patty. Afternoon, buenas. So I'm going to be talking about the Ekman Agricultural Farms and Producers Association as it relates to the Green Growth Initiative. We started the organization back in 2022, and now we have been partnering with various organizations, including the CREES, Public Health with Public School System with Erin Camacho. Erin is here. And Guam Sustainable Culture. We just got Michelle in the house. Thank you, Michelle, for coming. So, you know, it's very difficult to be part of the farming community here in the CNMI because it's very hard work to do, to produce, but it's very rewarding to produce your own food. Imagine if there's a problem in the shipping. How are we going to feed ourselves here? More than 95% are imported. So if we don't produce, we're going to get hungry. The information that was provided with, I think, TIM 1 is like 275 farms in the CNMI. That is less than 2%. So our goal is to encourage producers to get involved in the production of food. Where you are in the production food chain, that's your job. That's where we encourage our people to be part of this industry. Farming is a very rewarding industry. We are so far from the producers in the States, and we're way in the Western Pacific. So it's very scary. We hear a lot of things happening around the world, and if there's something stops the shipment, we have a problem. So the Farming Association is made up of local farmers. We have engaged in various partnerships, like I mentioned earlier. Recently, we have started the Sabalu Farmers Market. Right next to it is the Garapan market that our producers are making their produce available for everybody. So we encourage people to take advantage. We know that the best food is fresh food. Fresh, very fresh. And there's nothing that you can, you know, it takes about maybe 30 days to bring the food from the US or from Asian countries. So the freshest is at the Farmers Association. So I want to encourage our young people. I noticed that there's a lot of young people here today joining us. And maybe it's not what you're planning to be part, but it's something that there's money to be made in this. 43,000 people here, and we have less than 275 farmlands. So I want to encourage you guys to take part of this because it's a need for our people here. Okay, so please support the our local farmers here by participating in the buying your food at the market. And there's something that I want to just emphasize with the partnership with the public school system with Erin Camacho. They're trying to use staple goods in the middle and high school. So we're working with them so that they can supply our children at the middle and high school level to try at least one meal that is produced locally, like the taro and the sweet potato. But the challenge here is that how do you continue this? Because if it's only just one meal, we might not be able to entice or you get our children to acquire the taste. So we need to start maybe at a younger age, but that's something that PSS would have to engage with the what do you call this, the vendors who are supplying food to the middle and high school. All right, so that's where we are. We want to produce the food locally, and we want our government to invest in the production of the food here. By that, I mean that maybe they can just eliminate the tax on production of food. Maybe that's something that the other group that presented about the agriculture. How do you encourage our young people to take part in this industry? Because it's very essential. It's the foundation of life. It's the foundation of the economy here. How do you expect a doctor to perform surgery if he's hungry? Imagine that. How do you expect a teacher to teach quality education in school if the food if his stomach is empty? So the production of food is very important. Fresh food. We cannot depend on importing. Yes, at this point in time, we are very dependent. 95% is imported. How do you increase that to 10%, 15%? That's a challenge for our government, the policymakers, and of course the institutions that are teaching our children to look into this industry and massage it. All right, get it to grow. And I thank you, Patty, for the opportunity to be partner.
Wait, we have a question. Sorry.
Yes.
Can you tell us, great job re-establishing the Saturday market, lots of local produce, value-added options there. How many farmers would you say from CAFBA are transitioning into regenerative agriculture?
Very good question. Regenerative agriculture is not new. We've been practicing that since time immemorial from our parents. We're bringing that back because we have limited land resources. So we are practicing that particular regenerative agriculture so that it's something that maybe, well, the Farmers Association is made up of 48 people. Maybe 24 are now practicing it.
That's great.
But you know, the land is very scarce here in the CNMI, so I think that, with this new thing, I know that we've been doing it all along, but we just don't know the term. That it's Green Growth Initiative and Regenerative Act, but we've been doing it, okay? So, what do you call this? We hope that our new younger generation will look into this and join the Farmers Association, because the more people joining the farm industry, the stronger the voice we will have to the policymakers, okay? And the number moves policy. So thank you, Patty, for having our association be part of the green growth. And no farm, no food. Remember that. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank Chairman Len for his tremendous leadership. It's really challenging creating a movement and getting folks who have done things a certain way for many years of their lives, decades, to do something, to rediscover something, a way of farming that's good for the environment. So part of the transition is no use of synthetic inputs, no use of synthetic fertilizer, no use of pesticides, insecticides, herbicides as well. So not only is it good for the food, good for the people, it's of course good for the environment as well. And Glenn has done a tremendous job of pushing this initiative. So let's give him another round of applause. Okay, I'd like to call up Erin Camacho from the Child Nutrition Program, and we are going to have another one of our private sector and non-profit sector partners, Miss Irene Lirio, come up to co-present with Erin. So let's give it up for both of them.
Hi everyone, good morning. So like Mr. Glenn had mentioned, we're really interested in including more local produce, so that includes fruits and vegetables. When we did a career fair over at MHS, and I'm really glad to see the students here, you know, we had talked about one of the metrics that we're going to be measuring for 2030, which includes having local staples into the meal pattern. So the meal pattern includes whole grains. What we can do is we can, in lieu of rice or bread, put in local staples like cassava, sweet potato, breadfruit, and whatnot. And so when I had mentioned that, and I had mentioned that it was coming, hopefully by 2030, they were super bummed about that. So when I met Mr. Glenn over at one of the things that we were having, I think it was a summit, I had connected with him to see how much we could help connect with our National School Lunch Week. So that's what we're hoping to do this coming October and hopefully in the future. So even if we can't meet that metric of doing it monthly, we're gonna start somewhere. So yeah, we're very, very excited about that. And we have Miss Irene from one of our vendors actually, Kalayan. And so they're gonna be talking about their hydroponic systems.
Good morning. My name is Irene Lirio, and I am the representative from Coral Coast Foundation Corporation, or CCFC. On behalf of Eleanor Alinas, our president, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the Green Growth Initiative and the NMC CREASE team for inviting us to share our story and our work at Coral Coast Farm. It is truly a privilege to be here with all of you today. I am excited to share who we are, what we stand for, and the impact we hope to create, not just for today, but for generations to come. I hope this will inspire new ideas and partnership as we move forward together. Next slide, please, Matt.
Sorry, 1 second, Irene. Glitch in the matrix here.
Sorry about that. So, Coral Coast Foundation was officially registered on July 27, 2023. Our foundation is established with a clear purpose to foster a healthier, more sustainable future for the people of the CNMI and protect the natural environment of our island. This is where our journey began. Our mission is to build a greener, healthier future for the children of CNMI through sustainable and regenerative farming practices. We believe that investing in local agriculture and natural resources conservation can create long-lasting positive change in the Commonwealth. We envision a future where every child in the CNMI lead their communities towards sustainability by growing their own food and knowing how to care for their environment. CCFC believes in youth empowerment through education. Let me introduce you to Coral Coast Farms, a flagship project of the Coral Coast Foundation located in Cobblerville, Saipan. Our farm is dedicated in promoting sustainability and food security by growing produce primarily through hydroponic farming. While the farm initially started growing lettuce in June 2024, it was officially launched on October 31, 2024. The event was attended by representatives from NMC CREES, the CNMI Department of Agriculture, various media outlets, and featured a ribbon-cutting ceremony led by Philippine Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Please. So why did we choose lettuce? Lettuce is an integral component to school meals under the public school system's child nutrition program. The school-age children in the CNMI roughly consume 6,000 pounds of lettuce a month, costing approximately $119,000 a year. This produce consumed by school-age children in the CNMI are imported from the mainland due to the needed volume. This means that the produce is often subject to higher costs, larger transportation times, and potential freshness and quality concerns due to extended supply chain. Kalayaan Inc., a key provider of school meals for PSS, has partnered with Coral Coast Farms to initiate a farm-to-table program for its contracted schools in CNMI. Our farm presently employs several innovative systems. We have vertical tower system, we have flood table system, and nutrient film technique or NFT system. Hydroponic lettuce generally matures and is ready for harvest within 6 to 8 weeks of planting. With our different systems, Coral Coast Farms produces 536 heads of lettuce weighing approximately 730 pounds. However, this is actually far from our goal of supplying 6,000 pounds of lettuce to school-age children in the CNMI. CCFC have so far achieved a production yield weighing approximately 204 to 250 pounds. All this covers to nearly 1,200 servings to the public school lunch meals of the CNMI public school systems that our partner is currently serving. This implementation phase of Farm to Table initiative with guidance from Dean Patty Coleman and the NMC CREES team and funding from Children's Healthy Living Program Food Systems Extension and Outreach is finally on track. Coral Coast Farm believes that our crop yield would have been higher had it not been faced with several challenges. Next slide, please. Last year, severe weather which brought strong winds and heavy rain caused severe crop damage. The flood tables and crops exposed to the elements were destroyed and ultimately adversely affected the seedlings. During summer, crop pests tend to surge. Warmer temperatures, increased moisture, and the abundance of food sources are some conditions that accelerate pest reproduction, development, and activity. As such, our lettuce production during those hot months were significantly affected. We saw our crops attacked by pests such as aphids, spider mites, moths, along with fungal diseases like root rot. One of the significant and current development worth highlighting in Coral Coast Farm is the start of growing locally eggplants, tomatoes, and pumpkins using compost or natural fertilizers derived from composting methods These are from PSS school meal preparation scraps and other natural fertilizers. This one component of regenerative farming helps to improve soil fertility and reduce reliance on synthetic chemicals. Funding, support, and active engagement from the public can help the foundation achieve its goals and purpose. Before I close, I would like to take this moment to recognize the incredible support we've received from our partners. CHL, or the Children's Healthy Living Program, NFC CREES, CNMI Division of Agriculture, and Kalayaan. Their support has been truly foundational, allowing us to move forward with a purpose. Our journey at Coral Coast Foundation and Coral Coast Farm is just beginning. We see great potential in combining innovative technology, community engagement, and education to create a resilient, sustainable future for the CNMI. We invite you all to join us, whether through partnership, support, or simply sharing our vision to help build a healthier, more self-reliant island. Thank you.
Oh, great job. Coral Coast Foundation, thank you, Eric. It's really the visionary leadership of Ms. Eleanor Alinas, and Eleanor was involved in some of our preliminary food systems research, and she said, you know what? We're gonna do something about this. We are gonna start producing this food locally and putting it into the school meals. So I really wanna thank Coral Coast Foundation and Eleanor for their visionary leadership in kicking this off. Excellent job. Okay, so now we are going to transition over to Team 4. Mr. Mariano Iglesias, and Mariano is a homegrown CNMI engineer, and he worked in the States for a long time at the Economic Development Administration, was instrumental in getting those EDA funds to the CNMI, and now he has come home once again to directly serve his community. So let's give it up for our Team 4 co-chair, Mr. Mariano Iglesias.
Thank you, Ms. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mariano Iglesias, and I am one of the staff engineers from the Office of Planning and Development. I am chairing this Team 4 along with Mr. Kevin Watson and Ms. Yvonne Igomro, who are unfortunately off island at the moment. But leaving the Team 4, we are going to deviate a little bit away from the format. So I thought I brought with me the men and women who are responsible for contributing to our dashboard. But before I start, I just wanted to
Sorry, Mariano, 1 second. The youth are going to have their facilitated session over in Azucena. So don't mind the youth, they're going to their session where only cool people are allowed. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mariano.
Okay. As I was saying, I would be remiss if I don't acknowledge Mr. Kodet Uladon Ogumro for his leadership as the previous director for OPD, who actually led the development of this framework, the SDGs. So I just wanted to recognize the State Board Chair, Mr. Kodet Ogumro. Thank you so much. So behind me are the men and women who are responsible for the contributions to SDG 6, which is clean water, and also SDG 7, which is renewable energy, And before I introduce them, where it's going to primarily concentrate on those two for now, and then perhaps in our upcoming convening, we'll be updating the rest of the SDGs. But for now, we're going to primarily concentrate on SDGs 6 and 7 this morning. So without further ado, I have with me, behind me, Mr. Carson Madaranar, who is the acting manager for water, wastewater. And right beside him is Ms. Crystal Seidler, who is the training coordinator for the CMMS, the computerized management system. And then Mr. Adrian Rakes, who is the renewable energy engineer. He's an electrical engineer out of the renewable energy program. So without further ado, I hand this over to Mr. Carson.
Good morning. Just excuse me if I talk too slow or too fast. I'm a little nervous. I couldn't sleep last night just thinking about this today. So engineering has done a lot of work since 2024 and 2025. So I uploaded all the progress, but if I go over all of that today, we're gonna skip lunch. So I'm just gonna touch base with the key highlights of our progress. And so I'll start with the non-revenue water, NRW. We have to stick to the basics. Saipan is having a lot of non-revenue water. In last couple of months, we were at 55%, then all of a sudden it went to 65%. So the team, the task force decided to get together and start an audit, a water audit. That means we selected a small TSA, a tank service area, which is a Kualarai, and we changed out all the meters for the residents, the commercials, and also the production wells. And that didn't do enough. So we went and did a more extensive audit by ground miking the water lines, the main water lines, lateral secondary lines, and we identified some areas that we need to dig and fix those leaks. We also found a couple of water tampering. That means these are the connections that without water meters. So that's water loss. So doing that, it kind of gave us an idea of what we need to do for the rest of the island and also Finan and Rora. We need to find leaks, we need to replace meters that are not accurate, we need to replace meters for the productions that are not accurate. And then that's when all that is done, then we should be able to reduce our non-revenue water. There is a discussions about alternative source of water. That is much more cleaner water. And that is due to the PFAS. But before all that, we need to fix the NRW, because if we continue to the alternative source of water, we're just gonna continue wasting water, wasting resources. And I know on this island and the other two islands, water is a very precious resource. Due to limited time, if you can scroll to slide 6, and under training, the 3 to 5 years.
Next one?
Next one.
I think this is.
Or the uploaded.
I don't think we have that slide.
But anyway, I can just talk about it over from my head, from what I know, but it's going to be uploaded so you guys can see. So training, we have a new training coordinator, Clay Williams, and his assistant, Clay. Where's Clay? Oh, you walked out. Janine, can you stand up so everybody can see you? Seasoned assistant to the training coordinator. So now we have apprenticeship program accredited by the U.S. Department of Labor and in partnership with the CNMI Department of Labor and NMTech. That is one of the milestones or many of the accomplishments that CUC accomplished in many years. With that said, also we're partnership in partner with the BCQ. BCQ has been kind enough to provide us some trainings over the how many years, and in the last year and this year, we were able to train 20 operators and plus additional 10. So, and there are still more training coming up. So we're very thankful to Commander Travis, Spade Travis, and the ECQ team for facilitating and providing those trainings. I think that's it. Because of time, I'm going to turn it over to Crystal. She's going to talk about the CMMS.
Hi, good morning everyone. I'm not sure if anyone has ever heard of CMMS. When I first heard about it, I was intrigued. It actually stands for Computerized Maintenance Management System. So I am the sole team for the CMMS management system for CUC. We're currently in the process of implementing the Mentor APM CMMS system with a focus on improving asset management and maintenance operations within the water and wastewater divisions. We are currently working towards building a strong asset management foundation for our water and wastewater systems through the implementation of Mentor APM. Very brief, I want to take the shine out of Adrian. I'll go ahead and turn it over to him.
So good morning, everyone. So with regards to power and renewable energy, CUC remains firmly committed to the same 10-year goals that we presented last year, and those goals are to transform our grid to be cleaner, smarter, and more resilient. Over the next decade, CUC will invest in grid modernization and smart grid technologies that are both environmentally sensitive and are technologically advanced. So our aim is to empower consumers, improve operational efficiencies, and overall reduce greenhouse gas emissions here in the Commonwealth. So in the next 3 to 5 years, CUC will focus heavily on the deployment of utility-scale solar photovoltaic systems and energy storage solutions. So these utility-scale projects will work hand-in-hand with new policies and infrastructures that will help support rooftop solar to participate fully, in the energy ecosystems, right? And by doing both, we can ensure that both CUC and consumers, ratepayers can contribute and benefit from a sustainable energy future. Okay. A major milestone that was completed this fiscal year was the Integrated Resource Plan, which is a 5-year strategic roadmap that lays out the action items for renewable energy integration and environmental stewardship.
Woo! Let's give them a round of applause for finishing the IRP. That's foundational in this progress. Great job.
So what's significant about this IRP is that, the recommendations in the plan are informing our request for proposal process in the solicitation of a public-private partnership. Okay, this PPP represents an historic mark for the CNMI's history because we are soliciting a 25-year partnership with a qualified independent power provider to build, operate solar farms in Saipan, Tinian, and Boda. And what's meaningful about this for the resident, for our residents is that it can ultimately lead to more affordable, electricity, right? And that's what I think what everybody wants at the end of the day.
Cheer if you want affordable utilities.
So another thing to point out is that, with the whole hardship surrounding the economy, right? What we've been informed is that, investors are no longer asking the question, what is the cost of labor, in order for them to decide whether they're going to invest in this region, but more so, what is the cost of energy, right? So we feel like we have a big role to play in not only, serving CUC or addressing CUC's long-term goals, but the economic goals of the CNMI, okay? So aligned with our strategy to leverage industry expertise, CUC is also preparing an invitation for bid for for the privatization of our diesel power station operations. Okay, what's significant about this is that we're going to replace our old inefficient, diesel generators with more fuel-efficient ones that also will emit less greenhouse gas emissions, right? Okay. So in addition to the whole renewable energy progress, what I want to point out is that CUC successfully spearheaded the award for the Clean Heavy Duty Vehicle Program, which amounted to $48.7 million. Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of that, but CUC led the effort, okay? And this important initiative will decarbonize our government vehicle fleet. Okay, and through this grant, we're aiming to electrify 40 internal combustion engines that serve CUC, quota, DFABs, and DPW. So this effort not only will focus on vehicle replacement, but also the installation of the necessary EV charging infrastructure, green workforce training, and community engagement. And then with the support of the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, CUC will serve as a technical lead for the 3-year implementation phase of this program, ensuring that every dollar invested delivers tangible benefits for the environment and community. Furthermore, another progress, or rather not progress, but rather what's been entrusted to CUC this year is for CUC to serve as a technical lead for the Comprehensive Utility Master Plan, okay, in support of the Department of Defense's growing presence here in the CNMI. So this plan will update the baseline information for power, water, and wastewater systems, identifying and addressing any gaps that might affect mission readiness and community resilience. Furthermore, I want to emphasize that CUC is actively managing multiple projects under FEMA, U.S. Department of Energy, and also the Office of Insular Affairs. Okay, these projects are designed for energy resilience, grid modernization, and safeguarding the long-term sustainability of our infrastructure. So in closing, I just want to say on behalf of the power team at CUC that, that we're very, proud to be at the forefront of, the CNMI's renewable energy future, as well as, the effort to reduce greenhouse gas reductions here in the CNMI. And then through collaborative efforts with various government agencies, private partners, and the community, we are building a greener, stronger, and more sustainable future for everyone in the Commonwealth. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thanks to the team here for coming up and last minute to put together this presentation. And as you can see, I would have screwed up the message, right? And it's better that the message comes straight from the men and women that are actually on the ground doing the work. And just to add a little bit, I know it's almost 10 minutes, but going back to the non-revenue water on the water sector, as you can see, the work that's been done under the SWIMS program, which is the acronym for Sustainable Water Infrastructure Management System, and that is a 5-year program, and part of the program includes the non-revenue water reduction, which is what the manager had previously talked about. And so that is ongoing, and we would like to see that number go down, and work is on the way. So kudos to all the men and women who are dedicated to this work.
Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much, Team 4, Mariano Iglesias, and our CUC folks. They're so, I think they're so brave, because sometimes when they're presenting, people are mean to them. But there's a tremendous amount of progress and great work coming out of CUC. So congratulations and great job. Okay, we're now going to have the Woman of the Week, Miss Sabrina Shai de la Cruz. Yes, Cruz. Oh, Sabrina Shai Cruz, because she took her husband's last name, something my husband's still waiting for me to do. But she'll be talking about some of the things Team 5 has done and about data sharing with the dashboard, because BECQ has done a tremendous job. They might get the Gold Star Award for integrating their data with the Green Growth Dashboard and with ArcGIS. So let's give it up for Sabrina.
Thank you so much, Patty, NMC, and Green Grove team and partners. A huge thank you to the BCQ team who has really been on the ground and in the water collecting that data to share on the dashboard. We're so excited for the launch of this second convening and to be incorporated into our training symposium this week. So I feel that I am always in that moment at the right time. And I think this is one of those instances. So thank you for having me and good morning. It's still morning. And we'll go ahead and get right into it. So as of for right now, I am the lone co-chair. So where's my code? I'll be looking for you. And if you see your agency's name as one of the, partners, that would be a cue for you to come and see me or Patty or Jerry and the team to join us in this Team 5. Going to the next. All right, so that's the list of agencies and partners who were in the first convening, and we had this full team, Team 5, and we got really creative with wanting to name our team, and it is really funny. It's good to laugh so we can kind of get the nerves out. I'm pretty nervous standing up here, but I'm happy to see you guys, so it's giving me the courage to continue. And yeah, so that was, did we move from there? Yeah, so that was our team name. We tried to do a play on words with tree and reef. And no, we're not hugging the reefs, but we mean it, what do you call that? Like just air hug. We'll air hug the reefs. So we decided to name our team Tree Huggers. And I know that kind of is a funny word, but that's what it means to be creative, right? So we wanted to be encompassing of both the concepts of the SDGs that are in our team, which is the life on land and life below water, and also inclusive of the climate action, SDG. Thank you. And so these were the tables that we worked on in the first convening, really capturing all of the existing plans and work actions also that we've been doing. We can go to the next slide on that full table. So that's what our team, that collective team had come together and put as our main goals, 10 plus year goals, a SMART objective like most of my other teammates have been sharing, and our metrics of what we wanted to measure as far for these goals to really encompass the SMART objectives. And so that's really where our teams and other partners have contributed to the dashboard. But we'll go ahead and highlight the events, one SDG at a time. And so the first one is stewardship of land and sea. Oh, sorry, that's our team menu. That's our team. The first SDG is life below water, and I really wanted to highlight that our conversations, and we keep going back to that first convening, is that what does this mean to us and what does it mean to our team? And for us, we came up with conservation and sustainable use of ocean, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. And I'm really highlighting the events that have just recently happened this year, just last month and this month. And that's the Fisheries Week. Sorry, that's just June. It's the beginning of June. It's June 9 today. So yesterday was Ocean Day, and the whole month of June is Ocean Month. So happy Ocean Month. And that's for the rest of the month. We have the calendar up here from our sister agency, Division of Coastal Resource Management, who is hosting the events. And it's their, can someone in the room? The 5th CNMI Ocean Month. And so we are having the ocean fairs on all the islands, Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. The first one being this Saturday on Tinian, and so forth the Saturdays to come. Rota next, and then Saipan on the last ending of the month. So that's what we have for the life below water. And also, like I said, we shared our metrics and our goals. This is the tables we worked on from first convening. So we'll go on to the next. And for life on land, what we came up with, what this SDG meant to our team, is to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat deforestation, and halt and reserve land degradation and biodiversity loss. And I feel like some of the teams had already spoke about it, right? We, as a Green Grove team, have been all working towards these goals collectively, where little bits and pieces kind of fit in everyone's team. So I really wanted to say thank you for that presentation earlier and highlight that April of this year and April of every year, we host the Environmental Awareness Month. That's the Division of Environmental Quality. And I'm just going to go ahead and highlight some of the events that took place for the month of April. Most specifically, I'd like to turn your eyes to your centerpieces. If we can go to the next slide. Oh, so this is our partners. I'm going to the next. These are the winners. So we are showcasing in this event, and the rest of the week we are showcasing the Ladystone Make Art Art Competition. And this is our winners that are being displayed and our honorable mentions on your centerpiece. So I just really would like to share that these were created by our talented students from Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda. These pieces are beautifully illustrate the EAM theme, which was Land and Ocean Preservation for the Next Generations, and the PIATS team, that's the Pacific Islands Environmental Training Symposium, and the theme was Weaving Strategies to Strengthen Resilience in the Pacific. So those were the two themes that the students had to work with, and these were the pieces that came to life before us. And we were astounded. We were so excited to receive all of these beautiful pieces that the creative minds of our youth had put forth into the competition. And these are the winners. We have middle school category winners. I would just really like to highlight the schools, if I may. The first place, Tinian Middle and High School. And second place, Dr. Rita Hokut Inas Junior High School. And then Tinian Middle and High School were the winners for the private and other islands category for middle school. And then for their Saipan Public Middle School categories, we have our first place, Chacha Ocean View Middle School, second place, Dandan Middle School, and the third place again, Dandan Middle School. And going to the high school categories, so we had two separate categories for this. So did we pass the high school? Oh, we missed the high school. They're around for you to see. Sorry if we missed it on the slides. So, lastly on the laddies, I just would like to say, please, enjoy these unique artworks, but to help us preserve them, please refrain from touching them and if you do, please handle them with care. It's okay. And then additionally, for the rest of the event, I'd just like to take this time to let you know that to access the agenda and learn more about the PIATS, the remaining of this week's event, you can use the Event Leaf Guide app. That's Event Leaf Guide app if you're already registered. Or you can visit the website. It's a public-facing website at www.pietscnmi.com. And so to just kind of wrap up the remaining activities from EAM, we did have the Arbor Day tree planting. And at this very moment, they might be wrapping up now that it's 11 or have already placed the plants on the ground, but there is a mangrove tree planting as part of this week's activities as well that had happened today. So slowly but surely, we're putting the seeds in the ground, watering them, and giving them the time to grow. I think that might be the last. Thank you.
Way to go, Sabrina. Such a busy lady. busy, but she is still dedicating time to the GGI. Okay, so now we have a very special presentation next, which I don't want to steal too much of the thunder about it, but we have someone from the UN who's online and who's going to present. But I wanted to start by introducing Joe Mofnas, the Director of Customs and Biosecurity, and he's here with his team. And you know what we call these guys at the college? We call them the heroes of the Marianas. And we call them the heroes because they've prevented, millions and millions of dollars of ice and other illicit drugs from coming into the Marianas. And they're really, yes, our unsung heroes. Joe has been so courageous. I don't want to give away too much of the details, but he's done some things where he's basically been like, if you don't let us inspect the mail, we're not letting the mail come into the CNMI. So we have a very innovative model here of preventing drugs from coming in through the mail into our CNMI, and Joe and his team are an international model of innovation and courage. So let's give it up for him one more time.
Wow, thank you, Patty, for that nice introduction. I'm just a gatekeeper, okay? Can I have my team please stand up? All right. We have Colonel James Guerrero, Colonel Marvin Sablon, and Major Rob Regis. This is not my real voice, okay? It's an AI-created voice at CHCCER early Sunday morning. I got a supercharged antibiotics just to make sure that I'll make it this morning to this conference. Sorry, I don't have any slides to present. We do have slides ready for presentation, but I wasn't expecting this. When I walked in here and I said, whoa, it's me. I'm screwed. But, you know, hey, this is partners. I welcome all of you as customs and biosecurity partners. We need to work together to protect our islands, not only with illicit drugs, but anything that would destroy our beautiful Marianas. I want to extend my gratitude to NMC, Dr. Galvin, Patty, and the team. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to be part of this event this morning. We rarely get invited. You know, not only that we are law enforcement at the ports, we're also tax collectors. Nobody likes tax collectors. But it's a biblical established position if you don't know that. So the question is, how can customs and biosecurity contribute to the green initiative, green growth initiative? First of all, if you look around this room, anything within the light bulbs, the whatever you call projector, the clothes you're wearing, the cover on the table, these are all imported into the CNMI. Medicines that we have, extra, whatever it is, 99% of the goods in the CNMI are imported. So as one of the gatekeepers, it is my job with the Customs and Biosecurity team to ensure that nothing that can affect our people, our environment, our agriculture enters the CNMI. Okay, so this, I think last year we started getting involved with the enforcement of invasive species. In 2021, Governor Torres back then, through an executive order, merged customs and quarantine together. So with that, I made it a point with the management team, let's do something more than just inspecting for Let's do something more in ensuring not only plants or food products, but even invasives, even agricultural pests. And so, because of that, this year, the Invasive Species Council was created by Governor Palacios and Lieutenant Governor Apateng, in which we are a member. Just to share, you know, I've seen invasive species on other places that I don't want it here in our islands. You know, like little fire ants and rhino beetles and brown tree snakes and croaky frogs, which I think that's the voice that I'm having now is a croaky frog. You know, and all of that, I've seen that, and I said, I don't want that, because it affects tourism, it affects businesses, all of that. So we take it upon ourselves with the team, Customs and Biosecurity, going to do our best to protect our islands. We have turnaround vessel, a ship, bringing in a charter for a project in Tinian, bringing in wooden materials infested with all kinds of pests. We have turned them around. Go back. It's going to cost maybe 100, 200,000 to turn around that ship. It's going to cost the CNMI government over $1 million if we let that come in. We have seen containers that has materials, or even we import aggregates also from foreign country. You know, it has a big nice sign, fumigated, treated. We open the container, there's pest. Lock it up, get it fumigated. And we warn the importer, the next time, all of your containers is going to go back to its point of origin. I know it's going to cost money to you, but it's going to cost our government, our people more. Okay, so those are the initiatives that we are trying to enforce. And I also appreciate the passion of the council, or the members, the Invasive Species Council, the passion and the drive to work together to ensure that our islands is protected. This year, Oceania Customs Conference held in Guam in May. One of the key agendas that we spoke about is the green environment. And to be honest with you, I wasn't paying attention to this green stuff. Well, except money, but other green stuff, I wasn't paying attention. I'm just too busy fighting against, you know, drug smugglers, drug dealers, and all those stuff. But I was lying down early in the morning. I was, you know, like many of us, going through social media, and I saw this article about a plastic that was, I don't know if this is true, a plastic, whether it's true or not, a plastic that was found in the middle of the Mariana Trench. Boy, that woke me up. That I felt like somebody just gave me a steroids, and I said, wow, I didn't know that. And you know, I'm so ashamed because I'm a gatekeeper. I want to make sure that stuff that destroys our place doesn't come in. You know, so that, and you know, again with this conference, today's forum, in which Pat and Jerry was, you know, inviting them. I'm so excited to be here and to let everyone know that the Division of Customs and Biosecurity will do its best to ensure that our green initiative, growth initiative, and all in protection of our environment, we will do our best. We are partners. We are partners with the Northern Marianas College, the BECQ, and there's many local and federal agencies, public health, Food and Drug Administration. These are our partners. Every year we have a multi-agency strike force, MASFO, led by the United States Coast Guard. You know, unannounced, we have you know, joined together all the partners, and we do container inspections at the seaport, opening all containers, ensuring that no prohibited chemicals, no pests, no other stuff is present in the container. And we do that once annually. We're trying to make it twice at least. Okay. Patty?
No, I was just going to say we have Danushki's presentation whenever you're ready.
Okay, all right. So now I'm going to talk about Asikuda. And this is where I'm going to introduce the speaker or the expert. I think she's joining us virtually. You know, I would like to, it is a program designed for customs and biosecurity. 24 OCO members, I think about 15 of them have engaged with the Asikuda program. Palau just launched theirs last year. Guam is beginning. I'm jealous. But, you know, Pat and her team visited the office. I'm surprised, you know, because actually the Asikuda is kind of already almost snuffed out. But when Patty came and started talking about Asikuda, boy, I get so excited, and I'm not going to stop on this. I'm going to keep bothering her, and, you know, I really, really appreciate Northern Marianas College and Patty and her team for trying to help us get this program activated, because it's a program that would capture all the information. You know, I want to know how much can spam. We can do that. Coming into the CNMI, can of corned beef, any stuff, we can capture it with that program. And it's a good data for, you know, anyone that wants to access that. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker, who is an expert with Asikuda. Please, let me just get my phone out. Oh my gosh.
Okay, and wait, sorry. And before Director Joel introduces her, I wanted to mention that we have our Team 6 chairs for Team Nexus, the data group. And so one of the things we've been doing as we've been building the dashboard is Team 6. We have Auntie Francis as chair and Ms. Velma Regis as vice chair. Auntie Francis leads Mango and Velma leads our Office of Institutional Effectiveness at our college. We're looking for data infrastructure gaps. We had some blanks in the dashboard, calculating GDP, all of those economic indicators. So Team 6, through the leadership of these lovely women, has been on that. And then we were able to consult with the experts over at Customs to go down this path. So Director Joe, again, doing great trailblazing work. And he is going to go ahead and introduce our UN representative, Danushki. And we also have, their team members. Wait, Team 6. Dr. Plata Vega Sablan is here. Who else from that team is here? Michaela. Oh yes, Michaela. All of the people who've helped beta test the dashboard as well. So sorry, Director, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, I know there's a proverbs in the Pacific saying that a hungry islander is an angry islander. So I'm going to try to speed up, okay? I'm going to introduce the speaker, Ms. Danushki Sahabandu. We call her Dani. She has 20 years of broad development experience, which includes 17 years of service in the United Nations. She joined UNCTAD in 2022 to manage a regional trade facilitation project funded by the European Union covering 15 Pacific Island countries prior to taking on her current role as the Asikuda Pacific Regional Coordinator. Prior to that, Dani served in the United Nations Resident Coordinator's Office for the Pacific and thereafter for Micronesia, coordinating UN development assistance for the sub-regions. She has also worked for UNDP supporting national ministries with aligning with multilateral environmental agreements and implementing environmental and climate change policies. Dani also has a background in implementing peace-building projects in conflict settings and supporting humanitarian work. Across her career, she has managed programs and projects in environmental, climate change, peace-building, early recovery, and trade. And Dani, if you can hear me, say something. Oh, there you are. All right. Go ahead.
Good morning. Is it still good morning out there?
Let's welcome Danushki.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Director Marcos, and thank you, Patty. Thank you, everyone, for this opportunity to speak with you, share a little bit of the type of support that we at UNCTAD provide in the Pacific, as well as globally. I know there's very little time, and everyone's hungry and waiting to go off to lunch, so I'll be very quick. I do have a lot of slides, but I put all that in there, so if you need, you can always refer to it later. And yeah, and go deep dive into that. But yeah, let me just jump straight through. So I'm from UNCTAD, that's the UN Agency on Trade and Development. We've been basically tasked with supporting global economic development, and we focus on trade, investment, finance, technology as inclusive, sustainable development pathways. Trade facilitation is one of the key areas of work, and within this trade facilitation area, UNCTAD's largest technical assistance physically to more than 103 countries is related to ASICUDA. ASICUDA is automated system for customs data, and we have been in operation for about 40 years. The same program has been running for about 40 years. And recently in 2021 in Bridgetown, this mandate was extended to continue. So yeah, we continue to support developing countries via this system. Next slide, please. So just a little bit about the system. It's basically a customs management system. It does involve a digital software, but just projecting it as a software is to underrepresent what we do. Basically, to go digital, there is a lot of reform that needs to happen from the current system all the way to that digital system. So basically, before we can do this, we do a lot of policy and management related reform, and then a lot of re-engineering of business processes from manual to digital. And then after that, we launch a system so that everyone who needs to be on board with this is on board. So it's whether it's a user or it's the government or business trader, etc. So very simply, this is what it does. It helps increase revenue collection, facilitates trade, very importantly, increases the security, border security, and increases transparency, reduces corruption. Next slide, please. So, as I mentioned earlier, ASICUDA is in 103 countries, in all regions basically, including Europe, the Middle East, the Americas, Caribbean, Africa, and here in the Pacific, we cover 15 countries as mentioned by Director Magnus. And very recently, we launched the system in Palau, Marshall Islands, and the Federated States of Micronesia. Next slide, please. Yeah, another snapshot of what we do. So this includes 41 small island development states, and we have different types. I mean, ASICUDA is a basic customs management system, but we have other different applications that builds on that custom system. So ASIHub, for example, is a system that allows the custom system to talk to other systems, such as, say, your revenue management system, or biosecurity quarantine. eCites, for example, is a system that helps us. It's a permitting system for tracking endangered species trade. And then single windows are basically related to linking every single type of authority that would be involved in trade. But for example, in Palau, the single window blueprint that we just developed for them, a blueprint is like the architectural drawings. So this is a system for all types of borders. So they had immigration, for example, that was also brought in there, aviation. So all entities that would need to talk to each other digitally, share information, be involved in authorization, this is what comes under a single window. Next slide, please. Yeah, so very simply, we have a few principles. As UNCTAD, as a UN agency, we are tasked with enabling country institutional development. The support we bring comes at a cost recovery model, so everything goes to the country. We ensure that stakeholders from all levels, a case of civil society, traders, businesses, shipping companies, everyone is involved in the process. And like I said, it has that process reform or policy reform agenda as well to enable the system to launch very seamlessly. Next slide, please. Yeah, so very simply, just to give you a broad perspective and build on what Director Markmas was also saying, basically the system will work from pre-arrival to departure. So anything that's coming in from cargo and how that manifest is handled, managed, risk assessed before it comes in, to how then it's stored and then declared, how your taxes are collected. Payments are then also digitized, and then the release is checked digitally. Next slide, please. So it also builds in a risk management system for customs, risk and security is paramount in addition to revenue collection. So the system has like a machine learning capacity, which will, when you build in the right rules, you can calibrate it to basically predict which types of goods would go into a clear green channel or a green channel, but that needs to be checked after clearance, which is your blue channel, or a yellow channel, which is where you don't release your cargo until the documents have been checked and verified, and then a channel which is for physical examination or inspection. So mostly in manual systems, you will be checking everything, but here, based on the data that's being collected, the system configures and then prioritizes and randomly selects cargo to be checked. Next slide, please. Just a snapshot on the single window. Sorry, I know this has not yet come to the green growth part, but I just want to give you like a foundational understanding of what this customs management system does. So in the single window that I described earlier very briefly, we basically bring together every type of partner agency as well as private sector entity together in a single system that it interacts via this system. So if, for example, you're talking about some kind of agricultural goods that are being brought into the country, you would need it to maybe receive certain clearances or permits by quarantine, or pay certain taxes, or if there is some kind of endangered or invasive species that needs to be checked, all of this will get channeled through the system. But right now, the process that most people would be going through is you take your documents, you go to one entity, you submit them, and then from there, they will direct you to another office, and then you resubmit it there. They will check and verify, stamp, and then release it back to you and advise you to take it to another department which will need it. So this is kind of the way it happens. But via the system, you would make your single submission online, and then it would get navigated and processed via all the various entities that need to do it, and some of this can happen simultaneously. Some of it needs pre-clearance from one department before another department would look at it. So all of this would get navigated through the system. Yeah, just a snapshot. So next slide, please. So now I'm getting down to the green trade part of it. I think if you probably are aware that trade accounts for about a quarter of global carbon emissions, and hence, every shipment basically has a footprint. So navigating through that, reducing that footprint is basically what we do through Asikuda as well. Next slide, please. Why Asikuda? These are the 4 key areas of results that we have categorized. So paperless and contactless customs clearance, green transport and logistics, enforcement of environmental regulations, and improving process efficiency to reduce emissions. Next slide, please. So, I apologize, it was a little difficult to read, but basically what happens is through this digital, paperless, contactless customs clearance process, we're reducing to large amounts the use of paper. Right, so in Angola, we've in this middle column, you can see some of the different applications that we have that produce these results. And I've just put down some results here that outline some of, across the globe. So in Angola, we're seeing like a 70% reduction in paper. Most of the time you can reduce it down to 99% like Aruba. The only thing is it depends a lot on legislative reforms as well, because sometimes legislature demands that certain things are kept in hard copy or submitted in a certain manner. In Vanuatu, we have seen that the reduction of paper has been 99%, and trips, meaning travel to customs offices or clearance processes, has also reduced by 98%, especially related to phytosanitaries, SPS related conditions. Timor also, as I've said, we're saving about 14 pages per transaction, and the clearance time has reduced from 1 week down to 2 days. Next slide, please. So just like a quick infographic on this. So with the SPS module, it's a separate module specially designed for biosecurity. We've been able to reduce 99% of paper transactions. And ECOWAS basically is related to, in Africa, it's related to landlocked countries and the transit procedures between that. And we're seeing, so basically you're talking about different custom administrations talking to different other custom administrations before goods can get to a port or a transit point. So those transit points have also been managed to reduce it by allowing different customs to talk to customs. So apples and apples, basically. Next slide, please. I won't go into all this detail, but I'll leave this with you so whoever's interested can dive in deeper. So green transport and logistics, basically, here we're talking about land, sea, and air, right? Sea transport, for example, generates, I think, 3% of global carbon emissions, and reducing that is quite difficult, unless the ship travels less. But what we have managed to do is to reduce the amount of time that the ship is sitting in port, waiting for different clearances to happen. And by enabling pre-arrival documents to be shared with customs, so they're ready, they know what's on board, and they're able to quickly do the type of risk assessment they need to do before they can clear that cargo. Related to land transport, of course, we've seen a lot of change because here, like I showed you with that ECOWAS, that time on transit time, sharing documents electronically, verified documents are shared with the necessary authorities so everyone can stamp and clear things way ahead of time before the actual vehicle comes into that port or transit point. So we also here also calculating the type of like this example, if you're an importer, the number of times you need to go to customs to get your documents checked, verified, stamped, approved, all of those various journeys that need to happen. I'm sure in Saipan or CNMI, it might not be that much, but in larger countries, the amount of travel that's required from remote locations to urban areas to get these clearances are quite time-consuming. Okay, we move to the next slide. So improving those clearance times and costs, this is another area, so basically where we reducing emissions through all of that. In Jamaica, as you can see, we've managed to drop the clearance time to 32 hours. Rwanda, we're saving 18 million in trade costs over 3 years since we started implementing the single window there. In Turkmenistan, it's 14 times quicker, the cargo clearance process, and in Vanuatu, postal consignments cleared within the day of arrival, which used to be 3 days. So yeah, these are some of the, we just took a quick snapshot of some of the results they're seeing across the board. And then the other area is enforcing environmental regulations. Derek and Mahnas talked about invasive alien species. So these are this type of environmental regulations that you can then code into or configure the system to detect, to flag for checks, document checks or inspection or different types of non-tariff measures and SPS that need to be checked. Yeah, so some of the results we're seeing in Timor and Vanuatu is related to tracking ODS, that's ozone depleting substances. We have a module that actually tracks and because there are various quotas related to that, so it tracks the implementation of those quotas and prevents illegal trade there. Yeah, so next slide please. Yeah, so very quickly, those are some of the results you're seeing across the board on related to the environment, the type of emission, paper that's being reduced through the system. I apologize if these slides are a little fuzzy. That's because I have stretched the screenshot to fit the slide. But yeah, but you can just see that basically from Asikuda, and especially in a country like CNMI, where a lot of your goods are coming through customs, right? I mean, you can then, through that system, have access. Basically, the system will capture every type of information. Then it's about how analytically you program it and code it and configure the right rules to capture the type of data and analysis that you need. So for one of the customs administration, you can see through this pie chart here represents the total revenue and the different categories of it. This is a 15-day revenue tax collection, and in this country, I think the ship comes in only once in 2 weeks. the total revenue for that time period, revenue collection by month, and then revenue collection by company. So it'll actually show you for different types of companies that are importing what the revenue has been from those companies, and you can further drill down into these to understand what are the commodities, etc. You just go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so this is a different dashboard for a different customs administration. Again, now, so the way they have configured their dashboard is to showcase different things. So their requirements are different, and we can help calibrate this accordingly. So here they're looking at the total import duty, cigarette duty, fuel duty, and then other. So, and they have a total revenue collection, and this is the type of tax collection by office, because I think they have 4 different states, so they're looking at those 4 separately. So basically it depends on what type of information different managers want to access, and through this dashboard. So the dashboard builds on the information that's in our SICUDA based on all the declarations that have been processed. So basically you can calibrate it differently for different decision-making needs. Next slide, please. This is a slide that just shows the top 10 importing companies. So you can see that, okay, these are the companies, and it'll show you the volume relatively. So actually on the dashboard is interactive. So you can drill down. If you click on, say, this first box, it will tell you, okay, this was the volume, and these are the types of commodities that made up this volume. Or, and then you can drill down into that, say, separate commodity, let's say it's cigarette, in this box, and then it'll tell you, oh, this is the percentage of that, or etc. So you can just keep drilling down into a lot of this information, and keep analyzing it as you want. Yeah, so this again is a different depiction of the top 10. So this is the top 10 companies with their volumes relatively. This is the top 10 commodities by HS code. HS code is a harmonized system of coding different types of commodities. This is a system that's used globally by the WTO, World Trade Organization, and the World Customs Organization. These are the top 10 countries from which the commodities are being imported. So right here is the US, then Singapore, Japan, etc. So you can actually then continue to, like I said, drill down into, say, the US and see, okay, what are the commodities that are coming from the US, and further understand that. Next slide, please. Yeah, just another depiction of similarly a different country, and the different ways in which they are looking to understand their data. But yeah, as I said, it really depends upon what you want to see, what you want to understand, and you calibrate it accordingly. Depending on how good the business rules are that you can configure, or how smartly you ask those questions, then you can actually get that kind of information out. Yeah, okay, very quickly, just to run through some of the international standards and partnerships. I apologize for spelling mistake there. Yeah, so ASICUDA, we basically work off the World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement. This is an agreement signed by, I think, 160 odd countries, and these are the key articles that are related to customs against which we are supporting action. Sorry, we skip to the next slide, but yeah, I have 2 slides here on the SDGs. and it will help you basically outline how Asikuda's work supports each of these different SDGs. For example, on gender, oops, sorry, can we go back with, I know I'm trying to be as fast as possible, apologize. Yeah, so maybe on Unhealthy Life. So Asikuda can then track different types of goods, products that, for example, let's say in some countries in the Pacific, you have a sin tax or a healthy tax. So the healthy tax basically is where they have reduced the tax for different types of healthy products, and the sin tax increases the tax configuration for what they call not healthy, like very processed goods or highly drinks, commodities with lots of sugar in them. And so these are based on national policies. So then they are, through the system, able to configure the different taxing variations for these things and keep updating it as it needs. So all pharmaceuticals, you can add or reduce the taxing here very easily, and it'll apply across the board. And then you're also able to extract that data out. Next slide, please. Yeah, so again, I'm going to leave this information with you. You can read into it later. So the type of support and results the system is enabling in all of the different SDGs. Next slide, please. Yeah, very quickly, these are some of our partnerships. We do work with different types of international agencies, as well as regional entities, for example, the Oceania Customs Organization here in the Pacific, and different types of universities and trade associations. We work with IATA on aviation, and the Charles Sturt University in Australia, etc. Next slide, please, thank you. Yeah, again, a little bit more on the type of partnerships that we have, and I think we're done. Next slide, yeah. I'll leave this with you, and I'm happy to take any questions if there are. Thank you very much.
Really exciting stuff, Danushki and Customs and Team 6. Imagine having all of that data in real time. How much we're importing, how much we're exporting, being able to see all the things that are being charged, increasing business efficiency while doing it in a greener way. So where are we at with this project? Danushki and JV were just here a couple of weeks ago, hosted by Customs and Biosecurity, and now we are into the securing the diagnostic assessment phase. So they do a whole diagnostic overall assessment of our laws, the workflows, all of these things, and then they tell us what we need to do in order to implement Asikuda. So probably one of the best things that Danushki didn't mention this presentation, but Asikuda is actually free. The system itself is free. But we do have to do some payments for the technical work that goes into it. So really exciting stuff. This is a midterm and long-term project, and I really would like to thank Team 6 for their leadership, and of course the leadership of Customs and Biosecurity for spearheading what's going to be a game-changing thing for the CNMI. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are questions, and people, if there's any hard questions about this, please see Director Joe. He can answer all of the questions about it. Some people have messaged me and I go, oh, just see Joe Moffness, he'll answer all your questions. So, okay, what we're gonna do now, we're a little bit behind schedule, but we're gonna have people get into their green growth teams, and so here are the deliverables for today for the teams. And then